Pharaoh, let my people go. Let my people go. Our land you was your faithfulness. Let my people go. Go down, Moses, way down in Egypt land. Hello, Pharaoh.
Once again, we are certainly thankful for the privilege that you have given us, the house of Israel at this moment, to bring to you the truth and nothing but the truth. We want to continue this subject of true freedom. True freedom, as I was saying during last recording, is a very deep subject. A subject that I would say a revolutionary subject. True freedom. We have a world we're living in today that seeking freedom, seeking truth. We're living in a world where everywhere people are fighting for freedom, fighting because they want to be free. Every country, they're seeking independence. What we are talking about is freedom. They want political freedom, they want economic freedom, they want freedom in every way that you can think about. True freedom, I would like to bring to you today that true freedom can only come to us through the divine word of the Most High. It was Jesus that said in St. John 8:32 that you shall know the truth, and the truth is going to set us free. Freedom is important for you and I to discuss today. True freedom. We are living in a world that is fighting everywhere. Every day on the news, people are fighting for freedom. They're fighting to be free. Freedom of the press. Freedom in each and every country that we are looking at on the news today. In the Middle East, there's a lot of wars and civil wars, and what they're doing, they're seeking freedom. But I want to speak to us today on freedom, religious freedom. Every institution that the slave master left with us, those institutions was left with us so as to keep us under service, under their service, keep us in slavery. Even the religious institution that was left with us. In the book of Romans, the first chapter and verse 25, you and I will read where Paul discovered in Rome that they have changed the truth of the Most High God into a lie. That's where the institution starts. The religious institution. Today, you and I, we can go back to history we will discover that the first religious institution that we have with us today, the Roman Catholic Church, that was the church that started in Rome, the very mother of all the Christian churches that we have. Paul discovered when he got there in Rome that they have changed the truth of God into a lie, and they have served the creature more than the Creator. You and I could look at that in the book of Romans, the first chapter and verse 25. It reads, "Who changed the truth of God into a lie, and worship and serve the creature more than the Creator, who is blessed forever." Paul discovered in Rome the very first church that leaves us with the institution today, that they have changed the truth of God into a lie. You and I can look at that today. When we look at what they have taught us in that religion, when we look at what they have been having the people to believe in Christmas, in Easter, and all these holidays that we haven't found in the Bible, they have indeed changed the truth of God into a lie. Paul said they have changed the truth of God. Where? He discovered that in Rome. And if you and I can look at what they have left with us, they have left us a religion that everywhere you turn, and everywhere you turn there is that religion. There is so much denomination of that religion that it is almost impossible to get out of it. Over 700 various denominations, all teaching the very same thing: the Trinity, Christmas, Easter, and claim that they are followers of Jesus. You try to imagine the people that follow Jesus. If you and I can study the Bible, we will discover that those people are Israelites. Someone said that they were Christians. They were followers of Jesus. The word Christians come from the word Christ. I don't know anything about that. I read somewhere where the people were nicknamed Christians because they were followers of Jesus. But the people who were following Jesus, they were Israelites. Christians is a nickname. The people truly were Israelites. And we can prove that to you. We can go to the book of Rome, the 11th chapter. Romans, the 11th chapter. Let us go to the book of Romans, the 11th chapter. And verse 1. Where Paul is talking to the people at Rome. "I say then, had God cast away his people? God forbid. For I also am an Israelite." This is Paul, who was indeed a follower of Jesus. "For I also," Paul using himself as an example, "am an Israelite of the seed of Abraham, of the tribe of Benjamin." God had not cast cast away his people. That's the reason why we are here trying to talk to us about Israel. Israel, we are not talking about the land. We are talking about the people, where they are today. The Bible from Genesis to Revelation talks about Israel. We're not talking about a land, we're talking about the people. And these people, from Genesis to Revelation, God specifically talked about and every prophet that he sent. They were sent to gather Israel, to teach Israel and the world at large. If you and I can look at the book of Matthew, the famous Jesus the Christ. In the book of Matthew, the 15th chapter of Matthew, let us look at verse 24. It says, but he answered and said, this is Jesus. And by the way, he was a rabbi, a Jewish master teacher. He answered and said, I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. These scriptures are here for us to read. If you and I are going to be free indeed, these are the truth that we've got to follow. Jesus said, you shall know the truth in the end thereof. In the end time. The word shall there telling us prophecies. We shall know the truth, and the truth shall make us free. In other words, Jesus here is saying to us, and those of us that can read and can study this, he is saying to us, I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. That is true. And you and I today, we have so many churches. Nobody talks about Israel. Nobody tells us about Israel. Nobody is looking for the people. Nobody is identifying Israel. Matter of fact, some of us feels that this Bible is long ago and far away story. The people Israel, where they're at today, they're not existing according to some folks. This is just a story that was written some years ago, before you and I born. But here we are told that Jesus, this Jesus that is so famous in this religion that they have left with us, we are learning here that Jesus is saying that I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. We should read the story. Why he said that. Let us go a little further. In the book of Exodus, the fourth chapter in Exodus, and verse 22. And thou shalt say unto Pharaoh, and this is what I would like to say unto the modern day pharaohs. Thus said the Lord, Israel is my son, even my firstborn. In other words, Israel is the very first church, the very first people, the people that God is now saying to us, they are his firstborn. Israel is my son. We are not talking about a land. We're talking about people. The people that came from the loins of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Israel is my son. Jacob's name was changed to Israel, and he brought forth 12 sons. And those 12 sons, known to us as the 12 tribes of Israel. Thus said the Lord, Israel is my son. This is what he was saying. It was a message he was giving Moses for Pharaoh. Thus said the Lord, Israel is my son, he said, even my firstborn. You and I must understand that if we are going to talk about God, we are going to talk about religion, we're going to talk about the Bible, we're going to talk about righteousness, there is no way we can escape this whole picture of Israel. Israel is my son, even my very firstborn. This is what the words of God is saying to us from a Bible that I've met. I was here when it was written. I came and meet all the churches, all the preachers, and they are preaching and teaching ever since. But no one tried to tell me or tried to identify Israel. Israel is my son, this is what God says, even my firstborn. Brothers and sisters, if you and I are going to be free, we are going to be truly free, then you and I must accept the divine words of the Most High. Jesus said, I am not sent but unto Israel. If we are going to look at what the Bible is saying, then we got to find Israel. We got to find where Israel is at. Because the Bible says that Israel, all Israel shall be saved. All that is with Israel going to be saved. Salvation is of the Jews. Who said that? Jesus said that. Let us look at that. In the book of St. John, the 4th chapter. And verse 22. You worship, this is what Jesus says, you know not what. We know what we worship. For salvation is of the Jews. Somebody said, when you're talking about Israel, now you're talking about Jews. Jews and Israel, they are the same and said people we're talking about. Israel are Jews and Jews are Israel. Ye worship, Jesus says, ye know not what, for we know what we worship. For salvation is of the Jews. Let us consider these words. And let us continue to look for Israel. Let us seek the truth. And the truth is going to free us from this bondage, this religious bondage that is before us today. Some of us are looking, some of us are moving from churches to churches, from church to church, from religion to religion, seeking the truth and not finding it. Because remember that if you have 700 different denominations, you try to escape that circle. You try to escape whatever name you turn and you go into, whatever name might suit you, in the same boat, and that boat is without a paddle. You are still floating in the same religion. This religion that is before us, that teaches all that we know, save and except when the house of Israel came on the scene. You have an opportunity now to escape that circle, that religion, that religious institution that is before us. You have indeed a chance to escape. Jesus here is saying that salvation is of the Jews. Let us now move a little further. And let us look at the book of St. John, the 8th chapter, and verse 32. It says, "And ye shall know the truth." These are the words of Jesus the Christ. "And the truth shall make you free." This is what I want to say to us today. That the truth of the Most High is going to free us. We cannot be free indeed, save and except we know the truth. This Bible, from Genesis to Revelation, tells us about Israel. Someone said to me one day that if this Bible is talking about Israel, where is Israel? In my next recording to you, I will discover that. We will study that. Where Israel? Where is Israel? Are they still on the planet Earth? Are they escaped from the planet Earth? Where is Israel? If we can continue to look for Israel, whenever we find Israel, I want you to know, my brothers and sisters, you will be free indeed. Because Israel is where the words of God is. And let us try to conclude this message in the book of Psalms 147. Verse 19 and 20. As I conclude, let us look at that. "He showeth his words unto Jacob." And you know, as well as I know, Jacob's name was changed to Israel. "His statutes and his judgments unto Israel. He showeth his words unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgment unto Israel. He had not dealt so with any nation." In other words, he didn't take this truth or his words and give it to anybody around him or around the world. He passed this word on to Israel. Israel is going to be the people that is going to teach. "Israel is my son," he says in Exodus, "even my firstborn." He had not dealt so with any nation, verse 21. "And as for his judgment, they have not known them." So in the book of Psalms 147, verse 19 and 20, we can read where the words of God, true freedom, must come from the words of God. And the words of God must come from Israel. "Israel is my son, even my firstborn." time wouldn't permit me to go into anything further. But let me thank you for your time. Even until the next time, may the God of Israel bless and keep you.
Go down, Moses, way down in Egypt's land. Tell old Pharaoh, let my people go. Let my people go. Our land you was your firstborn. Let my people go.